Welcome, everybody. On today's episode, we discuss takeaways from a recently released e-commerce marketing statistics report linked in the video description, including trends with scheduled email marketing campaigns, how different industry verticals are performing, automation's unexpected growth, SMS marketing, and what the deal is with web push messages. I'm Greg Zakwitz.
And I am Gabe Macaluso. Greg, recently the world's largest kidney stone, which was about the size of a grapefruit, was removed from someone. Is that a world record you want to be known for?
No. Welcome, everybody, to today's show. You know how it works. 5 topics, 3 minutes each. We run long, Hector yells at us, and we move on. Before we get started, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button. If you have any email questions you want us to answer, leave them in the comments section or find us on social. Now, remember, kids, it's a myth that email marketing needs to be expensive, and that's one that Omnisend shatters every single day. So be a myth buster at omnisend.com. Gabe, our first topic is about trends in scheduled email marketing campaigns. We saw sends, opens, clicks, and orders all increase, but conversion rates drop slightly. So, Gabe, what do you make of these stats and consumer behaviors?
Yeah, I was kind of pondering this myself this morning and going, what's been changing in my personal buying behavior in terms of engaging with stuff? And my wife and I both are kind of going through this, I guess, late spring cleaning of being like, we get a lot of emails. Let's unsubscribe from all this stuff.
No!
I always feel guilty working in email marketing. I'm like, someone's working really hard on this. Unsubscribe. But anyway, so one, I think people are being more mindful of what they're actually getting. So, I think we're seeing open rates probably still lingering from iOS. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe someone finally gave up the iPhone 7, and so they're finally upgrading their operating system. Open rates are about up 5%, which is 23% increase year over year. Click rates north of 10%. So again, higher engagement is great. If it was just open rates and click rates were flat, I'd be like, oh, definitely iOS still lingering, whatever. But people are actually engaging. I think they're being more mindful of what they're actually, signing up for. I know we're going to talk about SMS later, but I think SMS is kind of impacting people's email behavior in terms of like, let me be a little bit more judicious in what I'm signing up for and what do I want to actually what brands do I want to hear from? Orders up. That's great. We're seeing that across the board. Economy is weird right now because it's like everyone's like, oh, it's a recession. No, it's not. Oh, unemployment's low.
We
failed
talked
economic policies. It's wild. But then conversion rates are down. So it's like, I don't know. I think people are doing comparison shopping. There's all kinds of factors that go into it. I think ultimately, as long as your orders and your revenue are up, which they should be, you're in a good place. So just focus on that because it's all about the money.
Yeah, I would say, so I'll go through a couple of these as well. Open rates being up, right? We're 18 months about consistent adoption from past iOS 15. So we've got a baseline there. I think it keeps telling you people check email, right? So I'm not going to talk about the lazy narratives we've been hearing for 15 years with email, but people are still looking in email. It's a channel they want. So yes, it's a good place for product discovery. It's a good place for starting the shopping behavior. The thing with conversion rates being down, I think you hit on it with SMS a little bit. I'm looking forward to that conversation. I'm looking forward to the automation conversation as well, because I think this plays a huge role into it. This is the one thing where year over year, we look at these stats and automation makes up a certain percentage of total email sales. First half this year, it's gone bananas, right? So it's vastly different, which I think is impacting these messages, but I think it ties together, right? This is the holistic email program. So we're going to look at the channels. We're going to see orders are up all around, which tells us people are shopping. Recession, no recession, whatever they're buying, we don't know. But they are shopping, and it's obvious they're using email as a conduit to that shopping behavior, either purchasing it directly from there or using it as a launch point or intermediate point in shopping from somewhere. So I think for the fact we're seeing all those other metrics up, I think is a perfect sign. And then we'll get to automation and SMS, and we'll see how it plays together here. So let's move on to the next topic.
All right, Greg, our next topic is about industry vertical performance. The top several categories for conversion rates are books and literature. That's a blast from the past. Food and drink, hobbies and leisure, health and wellness, pet supplies, tobacco, cannabis products. The lowest conversion rate belongs to home and garden, consumer electronics, and apparel industries. What do you think this tells us about shoppers? What can brands learn from it?
Well, I'll give you a quick preview here. conversion rate, so that's conversion based on email sent is how we're calculating it for your standard run-of-the-mill scheduled campaigns across the board. 10.5 billion emails, 0.07%, pretty consistent year over year. Books and literature, blast from the past, 0.22%. So quite, just give you a perspective about how that is doing there. I think what it tells us, and this kind of became a little prevalent in last 2022 year-end report, is the feel-good nature of stuff, right? You're reading books and literature, hobbies. These are things that you're doing for yourself. Health and wellness, kind of another thing you're doing for yourself. And I think that's what brands can use to play up their email marketing when they're looking to add things to their messages, to optimize them or just tweak them a little bit. So you might be selling coffins, not really something you want to play up the positive side to it, but how good would you look sliding in the Cadillac of coffins as they lower you down, right? So, I mean, there's something there. Remember your most loved ones the best way possible. This is the most beautiful urn in the world. Like, there's a way to put some personal enjoyment into a message, regardless of the vertical you're in. I think testimonials, lifestyle images, perfect way to do that. I think your low performing ones, we kind of see it, right? It's a lot of comparison shopping, stuff you buy on Amazon, tons of stores out there, tons of competition. Sometimes they're just looking for the lowest price or quickest shipping. So I look at that feel-good nature, self-enjoyment, and that's where I go with it. And that's what I see out of the verticals here. I don't know. Do you have a different take here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a cyclical buying cycle, right? So again, like, I still can't believe we're talking about COVID, but COVID was like, that's when we're buying home and garden. That's when we're buying electronics because we're trying to upgrade the stuff at our house. And it's like, okay, I don't have money to spend on travel, so where am I going to spend this money? Because I want to spend. So I think we saw like a higher conversion rate in those verticals. And now, I mean, we see every week, right? Airports are jam-packed with people. Flights are overbooked. People are traveling. Consumer spending is going up and all this stuff. So what are you going to do if you're going on vacation? You're going to buy books and you're going to read about where you're going. You're going to buy books so you can relax. You're going to spend money on food and bev. So I think all of that is just cyclical. If I'm in the apparel game, I'm like getting ready to ramp because I think what people are doing is they're getting healthier. They're getting in better shape. Their clothes are going to stop fitting and they're going to start buying that cycle, going through that whole buying cycle again. So I think it's cyclical. I think we'll see some of these rebound in the next year or two as people kind of like, okay, I got my travel bug out. Now I'm back at home. Okay, now it's time to upgrade the house and stuff. Not as much travel. I think it'll go back and forth. I think that's what we're seeing. It's just the natural ebb and flow of our world economy, if you will.
Yeah, so we've only got about 10 seconds here, so I'm going to ask you for like a 2-second answer here, but give one tip to people about how they can kind of cross-pollinate if you're on the low-performing side versus the high-performing side, cross-pollinate to optimize your messages.
To me, one of the best things that people don't do enough of is this idea of treat yourself. So we often buy for others, and I think especially home and garden of like, hey, make your home a sanctuary, or like, don't forget. I think we see that with pet supplies kind of lingering there, where it's like, okay, like you obviously have something to take care of. The pet like gives you comfort, whatever, you're kind of taking care of it. So just reminding yourself of it. But if you're selling like $800 headphones, like you can't expect someone to like buy that over and over and over again. So you have to be mindful of that, of how you approach that. But I think treating yourself, or hey, you've loved this product for so long, why don't you buy it for somebody else? Or why don't you buy the new version and give the old version to somebody else? I think that's huge.
Yeah, good advice. And I gave you a 2-second window there, so Hector hates me already. So all right, we're staying on emails because it's a stats report and that's what we do, that's what we talk about, that's what we love. I want to talk about email automation, which we kind of teased a minute ago, and this is where the big blip in the marketing report is most prevalent. So typically we see automated messages generate roughly 32% of total email orders, usually around 2% or so of email sends. The first half of 2023, this unexpectedly jumped to nearly 47% of all email orders coming from automation on 2.6% of the emails sent. So, Gabe, is seeing this jump a big deal, little deal, or no deal?
So I did a webinar this week, and I was super excited because we did a poll question of
no one likes a bragger, Gabe.
Yeah. I'm in such high demand. I just like, it's what I do. Anyway, so doing a webinar, and we did a poll. We said, hey, how many of the people on the webinar have 3 or more automations set up? Or 3 or more automations. And it was like 80% of the attendees had 3 or more automations set up, with like 88% of them having an abandoned cart set up, which I was like blown away because Greg, you and I have been doing this long enough. I mean, we came out with the abandoned cart app at a previous software company. And I remember being like, adoption was at like 10%. And we're like, just
brutal.
Send an abandoned cart. You'll make money. Like, just do it. Like, and it was a struggle. It was a struggle to get people to like buy into this idea of like, oh yeah, maybe automations are a good idea. And we still hear like reservations every once in a while, like, oh, I don't want to spam my contacts. Like, if you don't spam them, your competitors will. And if that's what's going to set you apart, that's what you need to do. So automations, I think, our adoption's going up, which is huge. People are finally understanding like, yes, this is important. So I think that's a big uptick in terms of like why this is expected. And I think the second part of it, shoppers are lazy. And so they don't want to have to click through. You know, they buy stuff, we're doing multiple things, we get distracted. If you send me an email where it's like complete your checkout and it's one button, and you know, with like Shop Pay and those types of things, like one-click checkout, making it as easy as possible. I think we're seeing all of those factors kind of go into this bump in the uptick of what automations are doing for us.
So this ties into, by the way, I would have expected that to be about 40-50% in the webinar, the poll results. So shocked as well. We talked a minute ago about conversion rates on your scheduled emails campaigns going down the first half of 2023. And this is skyrocketing. I think this is where we fit the customer journey here. So I get the email, something intrigues me. Maybe it's a sale, maybe it's a new product, maybe it's whatever. I was looking, I'm browsing. I click through that email, I get to the website, and I'm abandoning the website, right? I'm either abandoning a cart or I'm just leaving because I'm going back to a different site, or I'm just checking it out. I'll go back later. And this is where we're seeing automation kind of pick up that next tab, right? And SMS is kind of the same thing, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But I leave, I don't put a product in my shopping cart. We're seeing brands, last year, browse abandonment was the number one most increased sent message. It was 221% in 2022 compared to the year before. It's again, I think 144% or something like that this year, the first half of this year compared to last year. It's the most added one. It just adds to the shopping experience. So now I'm getting the browse abandonment message. I go back and I complete my purchase. Same with cart abandonment, right? We see more people doing cart abandonment now. So I think it's kind of a big deal that this number has jumped, but we've been seeing this kind of rise. And I think we just kind of hit that tipping point a little bit for, if you don't have automations as part of that customer journey process, you're missing out, and your competitors are absolutely going to be doing that. And again, we hear that reservation, and we're way over time. Hector hates me right now. He's going to start throwing shoes at me. But we hear that reservation about, like, I don't want to send too many messages to my customers. They don't care if you send them relevant messages that engage with the shopping journey, right? That's why they convert so well. So forget the rationale behind that. Wouldn't be scared. And if they all unsubscribe, then it's kind of your cue there. Sending a browse abandonment message, cart abandonment message, I'll say it all day long, is cheaper than retargeting them on a social media, and it's going to be more effective. So why not do it? Because chances are you're doing it over there. So I think it's a huge deal. It's a big deal that it's gone up. Maybe not huge, but you should be planning this for the holiday season. So more on this for a different day, because I think we should keep talking about this.
I agree. All right, Greg, let's get on to the next topic. Look at me. I'm doing a transition. What's happening here? It only took me to episode 9. Here we go.
Thanks for keeping me in check here.
There you go. All right, Greg, let's talk channels. SMS continues to increase in usage. Year over year, SMS campaign sends increased 50%. Automated ones increased 30%. Total orders are up 17%, but click rates are down slightly, and conversion rates are down. What do you make with what we are seeing in SMS through the first half of the year?
Yeah, I would love to say it'd be awesome if SMS conversion rates were going up all the time, right? But it's just, they were so high inflated just because it was newer a couple of years ago. I say newer, it's been around for a while, but really kind of hit that escalating point a couple of years ago. I'm not concerned by the rates, right? They're not like 0.01%. So oftentimes we see conversion rates go down or clicks go down as sends massively increase. I still think we're in that funnel where they're going up, so everything else just kind of gets dragged down. I think the one thing we're seeing is orders are still going up, which is good. In general, people are clicking, whether they're buying from there. To me, doesn't really matter, right? So you're going to I'll leave this for you because you mentioned it earlier. So But if I'm clicking, going back to the conversation point I just had, click on the SMS, I get to the website, and then I leave, right? We have automated emails that kind of pick up the slack there. Or if you have an automated SMS that goes over when you leave, right? It's an automated SMS browse or a cart abandonment, and I convert from there. The email is not getting the credit there. This is why we're seeing kind of orders just go up across the board through all the channels. If we get the stuff working together, we know we're in really good shape here. So, just because conversions go down does not mean they're bad. People are engaging still, and I think that's the most important thing to remember. And again, cost of retargeting, even from an automation standpoint in SMS, better than social media. So remember, we want to get your campaigns on the email side, your automation on the email side, your SMS on the email side, and push messages, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Get them working together, and you'll have good results here. So I've sucked up enough time. Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. And this goes back to one of the episodes where we talked about two-step forms, right? And like requiring the SMS. And it's like, so, if I'm running a brand, my strategy with SMS is still more of an exclusive channel. I don't think this idea of batch and blast and collect as many SMS numbers as you possibly can get is the best strategy for SMS. There's probably people that argue with me. There's probably revenue numbers that are like disagree with what I'm saying, but that's just my mindset as a consumer. What brands do I sign up to receive SMS from? What brands do I have a positive outlook on that send me SMS are brands that I actively want to engage with. Now, I think there's a lot of cool things you can do with SMS in terms of like customer support, but that's a whole nother channel. But an idea for increasing conversions, which I think we are seeing that. We're seeing more and more companies implement this idea of like, how do you push upsells by SMS using like a customer support two-way SMS kind of thing. So there may be some conversions there that are taking place as well. All that to be said, yes, we see SMS campaign sends at, for the first half of Omnisend's 2022. That might be the wrong date. We'll clarify that. Yeah. We're seeing a lot of campaign sends. 54 million plus.
Correctly, I don't know.
Yeah.
Past the spell
54 million plus SMS sends. And about 8 million of those are coming from automation sends. So I think...
No, the 8 million is on top of the 54.
So on top of...
Yeah. So 62. Yeah.
All right. So 62 million emails. But I think what we see is we know that the automations are going to drive a majority of the revenue and the order traffic from that. If you're apprehensive about implementing an SMS strategy, put them in your automations, see how your contact database responds to it. It's going to generate revenue for you. It's going to be better than social media retargeting. We know that. Just be mindful with it. That's kind of my advice with SMS.
Yeah, and a final, we're just blowing through the status report, whatever. Hector, you're fired, Hector. Take the day off. So the final thought here, too, is the interesting thing is in 2022, we actually saw a decrease in the use of automated SMS compared to the year before. And I think people were accelerating it in 2021, kind of dialing back and figure out where it fit more in 2022. We're going to blow 2022 out of the water this year from an automated send standpoint in SMS. So it's coming back. I think this just goes into more people realizing, we got to put this in there, the customer journey to help facilitate things. It's probably going to double this year, the automated, compared to last year. So we're back on track with that. I think people figured it out. So we keep talking about automation here, keep talking about channels, but these things got to work together. So, All right. Final topic today involves increasingly growing channel, web push messages. So in the first half of this year, campaign sends increased 75%, 75.75 to be exact. I remember that. We passed 127 million sends, and automated sends have so far doubled year over year. So open and click rates are up, but orders and conversion rates are again down. So Gabe, where are we at with web push messages in the grand scheme of things? And where do you think we're heading?
Yeah, so web push notifications is one of those strategies and kind of channels that kind of really an unknown still in a sense, where it's like, okay, do I really want push notifications enabled? Sure, whatever. I don't know. My kids often enable them, and then I'm like, what is all this?
Just always click a yes, son.
Yeah, they're always accepting. But they work. When I talk to customers, they're like, what's the strategy around web push? I'm like, send one? I don't know. Like, when's the best time to send a web push? Yes. Like, okay. I think it's just, again, one of those kind of levers that you can pull in terms of like, hey, is this going to make or break my fiscal year in terms of profitability and like orders and revenue? No. Is it an additional channel that's going to drive revenue? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that your only strategy to growth? God, I hope not. But in terms of like how often, I think it's just put yourselves in the shoes of your consumer. Like, do I want every time I log onto my computer to have, 4 or 5, 6 push notifications? No. Do I want a push notification every day? No. Like once a week, big sale, like to make sure that you're standing out, totally makes sense. Maybe a reminder after a big sale, like, hey, don't forget, check your inbox. Like, and I think that's the other thing with web push, where we might see some difference with like click rate and conversion. It's oftentimes the direction is to like go do something on your own that's not going to be a direct click through conversion, where I've seen that, like, hey, make sure you check your inbox for the big deal, or like all the details, that kind of situation. So it's that sort of slight nudge reminder to like go do something else and then get back to the website. So that email is obviously going to pick up that conversion and that click and all that stuff. How about you?
I agree. We are still, in the grand scheme of things, pretty early into the whole web push messages as being a channel, but it is a channel. 127 million sends in the first half of the year. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot of sends, right? Or a lot of notifications you're putting up there. I think the people I talk to that use it, the kind of same thing. They get the like, hey, what's the main strategy with this? And I'm like you. I'm like, I don't know. Like, what do you want to hear here? Would you like to do it here? Where I always point them to is think about places that like you would with an automated message, right? So high intent messages. So maybe they abandon a shopping cart, and that's a good place to use it because we know it's high intent. It's a little more targeted. I think the other place where maybe for the holiday season might be more impactful is maybe non-holiday season to get those sales up, but things like new arrivals or back in stock products, something that maybe is a little more FOMO or time sensitive or, kind of wanted or desired by someone, where it's new and unique. And I think those are probably the areas where if you want to play into it, test into it a little bit, look to optimize if you're currently setting, maybe dial it back or up it to focus on those type of areas. And then you can slowly build out from there. But that's my advice for it. I think it is going to be a legit channel. I think it's always going to be channel 3 out of email and SMS that we're talking about. But I'm watching brands drive tons of revenue from it. So I know it works. And again, this just goes to the customer journey here. If I'm clicking on an email, I'm going there, I'm getting automation. I've got an SMS as well, but I still haven't converted, but I'm close. Right? Maybe this just picks up that last slack there. So that's where I go with it. And I think if anyone's having success with web push or played around with it and have some cool ways to do it, let us know, because I like it. So we've gone over on every topic except for one today, so we know we're rolling. But Gabe, inbox is full. So a friendly reminder to all of you out there, if you have any questions you want us to tackle, leave them in the comments section. Find us on social. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and be sure to download the full stats report linked in the video description, also found on Omnisend.com. And remember, it's a myth that great email marketing needs to cost a fortune, and Omnisend busts that myth every single day. So Omnisend gives you all the tools necessary you need for success, including Black Friday success, and 24/7, 365 live support, and typically costs 40% less than those other guys, namely Klaviyo. So be a myth buster. Check out the link at Omnisend.com and or in the video description. Can't talk today. It's perfect, but we're at the end, so no one's watching anyways. I'm Greg Zakowicz.
And I am Gabe Macaluso.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check out any past episodes you may have missed. And if you're interested in a pathway to Black Friday success, check out our step 1 in our series with my co-host Gabe right there. Until next time, happy marketing.